Summer just started, and without a doubt, I knew I would have to do this video sooner or later. So let's just knock it out so everyone can enjoy a ridiculous amount of lobster this summer. We're going to talk lobster basics from cooking to cleaning and everything in between. Before we begin, let's get the hard part out of the way. As life forms on this earth, we are equally a part of the food chain as everyone or everything else. Unfortunately for these crustaceans, they are beneath us on the food chain and are a part of many natural diets. I want to remind everyone here that we are not, and I do not, just kill for sport. This can be an emotional task ending a life for personal consumption. So, as long as we pay our respects and give thanks to this life that this lobster is sacrificing for us, I feel no shame in celebrating that life via a tasty lobster roll. If you feel the need to kill them before putting them in a pot, a knife down the center of their head through the brain, where I showed you before on that little crease, will instantly kill them without a doubt. Also, while we're talking about that little crease, if they are ever too active and defensive, rubbing that crease, as you saw before, will also calm them down. After they've fully boiled, about 6 or 7 minutes depending on their size, they will be bright red and can be transferred directly into an ice water bath to stop them from cooking. Allow them to chill in this bath until completely cool. To break the lobster, begin to defabricate by pulling off the arms, twisting off the tail, and pulling the legs off. The body and all of the shells we are about to have will make for a great seafood or lobster stock for building sauces, risottos, and other tasty stuff. For the tail, we are going to push down on its side, giving it a slight crack, making opening way easier. Be careful on these points and be sure to push your hand with them and not against, as you will cut yourself. Once you hear that pop, you can open the tail belly side up and just rip it apart. The meat will come out all in one piece. For the arms, snap the knuckles from the claws. Using a pair of cooking shears, make small cuts or incisions down the sides of the shell and use your hands to open and pull the meat out. You can use this method for both parts of the arms and their knuckles. For the claw, twist the bottom claw off, and if you get it right, the meat should stay intact to the rest of the shell. If it breaks off, no worries. You can still pick that sliver out separately later. It's just going to be a pain in the butt. Now, using the back of a knife and quite a bit of force, crack the claw at the base and give it a little twist. That should crack the claw right in half. Pull it out gently, hopefully all in one piece, and voila, beautiful, the claw. For the legs, which most people just throw out, and I don't understand why, snip the part off that normally connects the lobster to the body, and using a rolling pin, roll out all that leg meat like a tube of toothpaste. Like, look at all that yields. Are you kidding me? And you've been throwing that out? If I find out you've been throwing away these legs all these years, I'm going to have old Greg come and find you. Promise. Now that the meat is cooked and shucked, we can do some further cleaning. I like to split the tails down the back and pull out that intestinal tract, as it can get quite yucky. Also, if there's anything left over from the stomach or the tamale, you can also remove that as well. We are going to cut these into fairly large, maybe more so medium pieces. I don't like super fine meat in my lobster rolls. I want a nice plump bite when I bite into these rolls, dripping down with butter and deliciousness. If this was cut too fine, I feel like it would start falling apart, and it gets a little tighter and tougher as it cooks in the butter. Pull out any leftover abductor pieces that you may have missed when you were fully shucking these before. Now, we're going to make some lobster rolls. In the whole debate of Maine or Connecticut roll, I'm definitely Connecticut. Hot butter lobster is really just the only way to go, but I do like what Luke's Lobster does in Brooklyn, which is a bun lining of mayo and then the hot butter lobster on top. So we're going to do things a little bit differently. Using a 1/4 cup of canola oil or any neutral oil, 2 teaspoons white vinegar, 2 cloves of garlic confit, I'll link that below from the video I did earlier, and 1 whole leg. Hit it with a stick blender for 60 seconds, and we just made garlic aioli just like that. We're going to prep some chives for our garnish. Get your buns buttered. I'm using a brioche style bun, top split, which is almost mandatory for lobster rolls. In a medium-high pan, you can drop your bun in, apply slight pressure, and then just kind of let all that butter melt and get all toasty. We're going to do about 60 seconds on each side until it looks like so. Next, we can wipe out our pan and melt 2 tablespoons of really, really good butter, and then add your lobster meat and toss until your lobster is just heated through. Spread your garlic mayo down on the inside of your bun. Line up your delicious hot buttered lobster. Give it a nice squeeze of lemon. Hit it with some celery salt, a few chives, and holy cannolis, Batman, this thing is a beaut. Like, come on, just look at this. Never pay $25 plus for a lobster roll again when you can make something this special at home. All right, well, what if I want a chilled roll? You know, like how they do further up north. Okay, fine. For the Maine style roll, let's do 1 to 2 tablespoons of garlic mayo, 1 small shallot, diced, 1 medium stalk of celery, also diced, the juice of half a lemon, some granulated sugar, yes, granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon mustard powder, 1 teaspoon of celery salt or kosher salt if you don't have, a few cracks of black pepper. You can mix it all up, toss in your lobster, mix that all up. Don't forget about the Old Bay seasoning. I don't know how I skipped this in the first place. Finish off with some more chives if you have them lying around. Give it all a good stir, and you just made the best Maine style lobster roll that I've had, at least. Load her up in your bun. Finish her off with some more Old Bay, and these babies are 2 peas in a pod. Top them off with some jalapenos or nice serrano chilies if you have them laying around. And, guys, it doesn't get much better than this. Listen, tell Summer you're not messing around and try this recipe ASAP. You'll thank me later. Chips and beer are mandatory, my friends. We'll see you next week.